A rare night out. Guys, I socialized this weekend. I went out. I don't even remember. I don't even remember the last time. Actually, it was Easter when my friend from Greece visited. But this time, four old friends, two couples. One I hadn't seen since. I think it's been 4 years or five, and the other couple I hadn't seen in 3 years. But they live in the same city. So they came to visit and they messaged me if I was free. I thought, yeah, I will go. I hadn't seen them in so long. And it was just like an experiment for me, like just to see. It was just a social experiment, like to see how I am now with the same people. It's just revisiting a friendship because I used to live in that city where they live now. So we're hanging out. They were like my drinking buddies, and I spoke about them before. Like I was a token, always single friend, the weirdo that never has a partner. Anyway, and yeah, where do I start? I'm I'm just gonna start at the end because I felt such a relief that they were talking about the same things. The lives they're exactly the same. I couldn't find anything new in their lives. Like, exactly the same. They're talking about the dog. They're talking about the house, about their families, about going out drinking, about work. Um, but the whole drinking, it's just a major thing. It was a major um point of conversation, basically. Um, it was nice to see them, and I did catch myself thinking I need to be that old Joe, like to impress them, or like just to be like trying to make them like me, and just try to be just to say the right stuff, and then I thought I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to be liked by these people, and I was completely myself. I took them to a couple of galleries. They're not arty people. They're not into arts. They're not into that. And I took them to the galleries. I was like, we're gonna do something I want to do, and they were fine with it. But it was, it was just, it was sort of sweet because I felt like I was teaching them about art, and it was fascinating. They didn't know anything about the artists, about the. I hope that doesn't sound pretentious, but we didn't have. I always said that in me. I always said that I always wanted to talk about art, about creative things, about what interests me, what it still interested me then, and it interests me now still. And back then, I wouldn't reveal. Basically, I would feel almost embarrassed. I didn't want to tell them, "Oh, let's just go to the gallery. Let's just do this." So, I'm feeling about this. I don't know, piece of art. I wanted to talk about these things, and now I felt like I was free to do that. I had that. I gave myself permission to be myself. I don't want to be like. I don't need to be liked by these people anymore. And that was interesting. That was really interesting. We're different people. It was just revisiting an old part of me. It wasn't just being around people that I knew. I used to call them my friends. Obviously, it's not friendship if we're not in contact. We don't have the connection. But it was interesting to be in the presence again. And by being in the presence, I could revisit my old mentality. And I felt so grateful that at the end of the day, when we left, we said our goodbyes. I felt like I don't need these people. I don't need this. And how can I put it into words? How can I express it? That I don't, like, I will go home and that's what I want. It is, I have that safety net. I don't go home anymore thinking, oh, I said something weird, or they don't like me, or what did I say? Or maybe they don't want to hang out again, or whatever. Nothing. That is completely removed from my mentality, from my brain. And I was so glad to leave and go home and be by myself and embrace my solitude and be in my company where I'm safe and peaceful, and need the I don't need to be anyone else. And I wasn't anyone else. This time I didn't try. Like back in the day, I was trying desperately to have friends, for them to like me. I hope you know what I mean. And also, a very weird thing, guys. I took them to a jazz bar when I used to go. And one of my subscribers were there, and she recognized me and she spoke to me. And hello, Marianne. I'm so sorry. I was so awkward when you spoke to me. Thank you for talking to me, but that was so awkward for me. Like, I was like, what? Someone recognized me, and it was very sweet. And thank you for talking to me. And I'm sorry, I was too awkward. Anyway, yeah, friendships, and we move on. And it was interesting to see how they still talk about the same things. They still ask me about the same things. If I'm dating, or if I'm drinking, or when I go out, where do I go? I'm a completely different person. I'm not the same person. And that was interesting and fascinating to see how, being with and being within a couple, I don't know, you don't really, I'm gonna have to say it, you don't really change. You don't as an individual, you don't really change. Like, I don't want to use the word progress. Like, you don't search within you who you are, if you know what I mean. You just become that unit with your partner. And it was interesting to see they're like exactly the same. The, like the same. Friendship, say, again, just the moral of the story is that you can love your solitude. You can be safe within you know yourself, etc., etc. But sometimes when you go and, I'm talking about me, sometimes when I go and socialize with old friends that they're not friends anymore, I can't use that word for them. It's just so reassuring for my choices. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm so grateful for me. Thank you, me. I love me. I love my company. I love my life. I love what I've created. I love what I have built. This is the moral of the story. You can hang out with people, but at the end of the day, you will always return to you. And I returned to me, and I was smiling. I went to bed and I was smiling. It was a good day because I found out a little bit more about me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for commenting, and thank you to Marianne for talking to me. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day.